Are you one of those people who are suffering with this problem? Computer running, keyboard light on, mouse working, but no picture on the screen. Well, I will try my best to explain and tell you many different reasons to why this is. Number one, double check and make sure if your VGA cable, which is attached to the monitor, is plugged into a port that looks like this. The monitor port. It should look like this color. Make sure it's firmly plugged in. And try seeing if your computer turns on and gets picture on the screen. Another reason to this problem, some computers are really different, such as this one. Make sure that your keyboard's plugged in properly. Here are the ports on the back. If your computer has this little information sticker, just check and see if the mouse is plugged in correctly and if the keyboard's plugged in correctly. This computer has a weird problem. When the keyboard's unplugged, you don't get any picture on the screen. When you plug the keyboard in, you get display. Also, check your motherboard by just simply removing the screws on the back of the computer and take the case off and check the motherboard and see if there's any blown capacitors. Now, in order to tell if a capacitor is blown, if it has first of all, a capacitor looks like this. If it is blown, it will have a bump on the top of it with probably some orangish, reddish stuff oozing out from the top. Now make sure that all the capacitors are fine and not blown, because if they are, that is the reason why your monitor isn't turning on. This computer has a built-in video card. Another cause of this problem is a CPU failure. Everyone knows I have the IDM Turbo Research T286 Turbo Research computer. Well, I was being stupid and I put the CPU in the wrong way, killed the CPU, and I get no picture on the screen, but the computer turns on. So make sure that your CPU isn't blown. Now, I advise you not to take the heat sink off if you know what you're doing. If you don't know what you're doing, I suggest you ask a friend who knows a lot about computers, or who knows a friend that can help you with the problem. The IDM Turbo Research, well, has an easy heatsink to take off, and I just felt the CPU and it was it felt cold. If it's not hot, then that means it's dead. But if it's at a very hot temperature that would burn your fingers, well, that's a sign that's working. That's how I know if a CPU is not working. Another reason, computers with chipset video cards, such as this one. This is an older video card with capacitors on it. Now, make sure that the capacitors on this video card aren't blown either. If they're blown, you have to replace your video card and get a new one. Now, newer video cards are very pricey now. You would probably get one for $50 at Future Shop, depending where you live. Here in Canada, we have to pay a little bit extra for that. I'm pretty sure in the United States it'd be a whole lot cheaper. So make sure that the capacitor isn't blown. The capacitors on this one are fine, so I know this is a healthy working video card. Some video cards don't even have capacitors, and sometimes the video card could just die without explanation. No matter where you look on the video card, you won't be able to find evidence of it being broken. So sometimes video cards just die out and you'll have to replace it. So if you have a video card with no capacitors on it, and if everything you tried doesn't work, it could be the video card that's not working. Also, if you do have a video card that doesn't have blown capacitors, it could be the card itself. Also, another way, double check and make sure that everything is plugged in correctly. Sometimes the video card could be loose if there's no screws holding it in. So make sure that the video card is firmly plugged into the computer. But make sure you unplug the computer before touching anything. Another reason is the RAM sticks. Sometimes RAM dies too, and you'll have to replace that. This computer has 2 working RAM sticks. I did have a computer one time that had a RAM stick problem, and every time when you were to turn it on, you would just get a black screen. Now there was no beeper, so you know, it didn't indicate that there's a problem, but I took the RAM stick out anyway and put a new one in, and it worked just fine. So I hope this video was helpful, and I hope I gave you guys some information about many ways on how you won't be able to get picture on your screen. Now, this computer works fine. I just, you know, put the blank screensaver on. So this computer is working fine. There's no issues with it. So if any of you remember me having a Comtech computer, and every time when I would were to turn it on, it would power up and everything, but I wouldn't get any picture on the screen. That was from blown capacitors. So that's how I knew that computer wasn't going to work. I placed in so many different video cards, changed the RAM, did everything. It was basically the capacitors that blown on the motherboard, and I could not fix it. So that's it. That's how to fix the problem. I hope it is helpful, because obviously I don't have a soldering kit, so I can't unsolder capacitors from the motherboard and resolder them again. But yeah. So let me know if you have any questions. Email me, comment me, and I will get back to you. So that's it.